Hi guys, happy Monday. Happy Labor Day. Uh does this mean summer is like officially coming to an end? Um we are live. I'm not reading the live chat. Just want to let you guys know that now. I have nothing planned. I have no script. I just I couldn't do a regular episode of the show today because I can't go on here and talk about pop culture and fluffy entertainment news. We will. Tomorrow we'll be back to it, I promise, and we will have an extra episode on Saturday because I know we have advertisers and stuff, but I couldn't come on the podcast today and not acknowledge this. And I also felt like it just deserved more than like a 10-second, you know, quick gloss over before we get into the news. Um, I wasn't sure how I wanted to address this or what I wanted to do or how I wanted to do it, and I hope I'm not being disrespectful to his family who I my heart is so incredibly broken for them. Um, but I wanted to honor him, and I live my life fully on this podcast every day. You know, you've seen me through highs and lows. You've seen me through grieving processes in the past. I mean, I had 2 major losses last year. Um, and this one's a little bit different, right? Because I feel like so many of you, you know Jeff or you felt connected to him. And for those that don't, I would like to introduce you to him. Um, we were friends for many years. And if you did not catch Disaster Daters, that was the podcast that we launched last year together. We filmed 2 seasons. We were hoping to do a third, but obviously, you know, I just knew he had some stuff he needed to work through first, and I wanted him to be in the best, healthiest place before we moved into a 3rd season, but we were I was always planning on making sure we did a 3rd season, and you guys kind of saw things shake out in season 2, but he passed away, and it's been a really weird 48 hours, and again, I my heart like and it's people have sent me so many sweet messages and calls, and I wanna say I appreciate it so much, but any ounce of energy that you have, I want you to send to his family, like, they're the priority right now. They need all the love and the support, and, you know, I want that love and energy, please direct it to them, all of it, like, I'm okay. It's been a really wild 48 hours. Um, and I've gone through so many I didn't expect it to hit me so hard. I feel like I've gone through grief so many times, especially recently that I but he was one so young and it was so unexpected and it just I don't know. This one hit me a lot harder than I was expecting and I don't want to disrespect him and I want to honor him. And that's again, this is the only way I know how to live my life, you know, is fully with you guys. And I'm probably doing this all wrong, and I don't know how to do this, and I'm trying my best. But I wanted to come on here and just I so many people are sharing clips from Disaster Daters over the weekend, and, like, that's the version of him I want everybody to remember. You know, he had it's funny, we had friends, and they were always like, "Jeff, like, why do you keep giving him so many chances?" I was the biggest Jeff apologist, you know? And I was like, "Because I see the chaotic side of Jeff, and he shares that with everybody. And I think he and I related in that sense of like we were always the misfits, you know, even amongst our group of friends, right? We were the crazy ones in very different ways. You know, I was very dramatic and he was very chaotic, but we both had just like this tornado that we would bring um and we just understood each other in that way. And one thing that I loved about him so much was despite the chaos and despite the, you know, crazy side of Jeff, there was just this pure heart in him. And and it's weird because when somebody passes, that's when you like only remember all of the good traits and all of the good things about the friend. They're like, oh, they were the best person ever, and they lit up every room they walked into. And But the thing is, like, and then so many, I know so many people are like, "Jeff was so funny, and he, he made me laugh, and he was entertaining, and he was vulnerable, and I was able to connect with him on this or that or whatever." But, like, and I love all of those parts of Jeff, but, like, I just want, like, I loved even the flaws in him. Like, I've just been so broken these past 2 days. I'm sorry. It's not about me. But I wanted to come on here, and like I said, I wanted to honor him, and I wanted to remember him in a positive way, and so I love that you guys are rewatching Disaster Daters and sharing clips and remembering how funny he was and going through your DMs and laughing about all the crazy Lindsay Lohan memes and all of that. And I know he was important to so many people. And it's weird because, like I said, I've gone through a lot of grief in these past couple of years, but like this one's obviously a little different because it's so public. Um, and so many people like felt connected to Jeff and felt like they knew him, and I know you guys want to remember him in some way as well. And again, I don't know if I know I'm probably doing this all wrong. I just didn't know how else to do this. Um, but please continue to share your your DMs and your happy memories with him, and like know that like that meant something to him. Like he felt so connected to everybody that reached out to him, and the podcast was fun for us. I mean, so many people know him from Pop Goggles, which is kind of where he'd started his content creation world, and then he had the Manic podcast, and for a minute he was doing a Patreon with our friend Steven, um, who I know has to be so heartbroken in all of this right now. And I'm thinking of his family, and I'm thinking of all of our friends, and it's weird and it's hard. And I never wanted to be one of those sad bitches like Selena Gomez that goes on the internet and cry. I mean, trust me, Jeff is probably looking at this and being like, my God, this is so cringe. Like, what are you doing? Um, But again, this is just the only way I know how to live my life and process things. And again, we have a show that we tape every day. There was no way I can come on the show today and just be like, okay, let's talk about Blake Lively. Like, no, fuck Blake Lively. Jeff hated Blake Lively. He hated that bitch. Life is so fast, and you never know when someone you love is going to go. This one was sudden. This one was shocking. This one left me so disoriented, and so these have been really dark 48 hours for me, and it's just been a really weird thing to process, and I, again, didn't expect it to hit me as hard as it did, and I mean, if I'm being honest, have this guilt of being like, "Why are you so fucking sad? Like, you're not even his family." Like, imagine what they're feeling right now. Like, I feel guilty for grieving, but I don't know. But one thing I loved about him is he was just so raw and real and open and vulnerable, and he shared so much of himself with the world that I think so many people felt connected to him in that way. And I also kind of just felt like this is hoping some sort of opportunity for you guys to maybe have some closure too, because I know he meant a lot to you. I know he did. He meant a lot to a lot of people. He meant a lot to me. And it's still so weird that he's not here anymore. Like, it's a really like, grief is really weird, right? I'm sure many of you have experienced it, but it's like one minute the person is here, and then the next minute they're, like, gone, and they've disappeared, and they just don't exist anymore. And it's a really weird concept to wrap your head around, but then to also I just wanted to come on here and let everybody know, let him know, I don't know, how much I loved him and how special he was to everybody around us. And I'm so sorry. I hope I was a good friend. I hope I fought for that boy so many times. It's funny, he was our birthdays were just a day apart, so we would always kinda celebrate. Um, Usually, it was, he it was with our my live shows. I remember my 30th birthday, we celebrated our birthdays together. But he was so special to so many people, and I know he's gonna be remembered so fondly for so many people. And listen, in a weird, twisted, fucked up way, he went out like a rock star, right? Live fast, die young, I think was the only way he knew how to live. But I just wanna say how much I loved him and how proud I was of him and how proud I was of his sobriety journey, and, you know, I know he openly spoke about his heroin addiction and overcoming that, and I wanna be respectful to his family, and I'm not gonna share the details of his passing, but I will say, I wanna make it very clear, you know, he his sobriety that was very important to him, and he took that very seriously, and you know, I'm proud of him for that, and I know that this is sad and sappy and probably morbid and twisted and weird, and I know people are looking at this and cringing, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm sorry, all I know how to do is this, is be fully, radically, completely open, honest, and transparent, and Jeff, I want you to know how many people loved you. I get mad sometimes. So many people loved you. So many people still love you. I still love you. Like I said, he was 2 years older than me, but he was always like my little brother, and I always wanted to take care of him, and I always wanted to make sure he was okay, and I saw, so many people loved him for the entertainment that he brought and the laughs that he brought, but I loved him for the parts of him that he didn't even like, you know? I loved him for the flaws and for his raw heart. He had such a good heart. He was such a good There's so many people, so many other friends that we have that I'm like, you act like a good person and you do all these good things and you virtue signal and you post all the right things on Instagram, but you're really a shitty fucking person. And you judge somebody like Jeff because he's flawed and he's imperfect and he owns that. And I think it made me more courageous to own those parts of myself because I saw him own those parts of him. And I think he did that for a lot of people. He gave them this comfortability to just be themselves and to, be okay with the messy parts of them, the messy parts that the world wants to hide. So many people want to hide that part of them. And Jeff was just brave in that way. And I think he made me brave in that way too, to be like, if you can do it, I can do it. And I think we just always understood each other in a very different way. We weren't superficial friends. We weren't Hollywood friends. We weren't podcast friends. Like there was a very pure and genuine connection that we had. And I'm so glad we got to host Disaster Daters together. Like, I don't know how I would feel if we didn't have that and those memories. And you guys saw our friendship and the ups and the downs of it. And I mean, we put everything in that podcast, and it was fun, and it was challenging, and season 2 was really challenging because I saw the change in him, and I saw that he wasn't his best self, but he was still his honest and truest self, and that was always the side of him that I loved the most because it was just very bold, and it was very brave. And that's not easy to do. I know I always say, I have so much respect and love for content creators that come out and put their name and their face and their life on the internet because it's a hard thing to do, especially with the judgment and the criticism and the comments and all that shit. It's not easy. And Jeff just did it in such a way that was so radically open and transparent and vulnerable. And I'm glad people got to see those parts of him because he really had just one of the sweetest hearts of anyone I know. I mean, shit, he was a better person than I ever could have been. Um, and I know I come with my flaws. Sorry, I know this is rambly and I don't know if any of this makes sense or what. I couldn't tape a regular episode of the podcast today, and I couldn't be like, "And today's sponsors," and I couldn't do that. The show will be back tomorrow. I'll pull it together tomorrow. But it's holiday weekend, which, I mean, listen, Labor Day weekend is very on brand for Jeff, right? With a nice cold beer by the pool. Thank you for giving me space, and please just continue to direct any condolences, love, energy, support. His family needs it right now. I, again, cannot even imagine the pain that they're in right now. I know the pain that I'm in right now, and I know it's nowhere in comparison to that. But let's remember him in a positive way. Let's continue to laugh with him and know he's at peace now. I know he is. He has to be. And that makes, as sad as I am, I just want him to be at peace. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Continue to share him, post clips. I have our editors working now to put together a best of montage from Disaster Daters that I hope to share with you guys soon so that we can continue to remember that side of him. Tell your friends you love them. Tell your family you love them. Tell the people that matter to you how much they matter to you. Because you never know when you're going to get a call and they're gone. Life is fucking short. Okay? Remember that. And personal differences, political differences, all of that shit does not matter right now. Like it really doesn't. That's been a really weird thing for me is realizing how many people that I considered close friends in my life, people that I've loved that really have shown me their true colors these last 48 hours. And that's a really weird concept to process. Politics don't matter. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit to fight over shit like that. It's fucking bullshit to get in a fight and not make amends. It's bullshit to leave your friends unread. It's bullshit to not take their calls because you're too busy. All of that, like you just life things get put into a different perspective. I don't want you in this position. I mean, I have no regrets about my relationship with Jeff or the end of, things. I loved him very much and I made sure I expressed that to him as much as I possibly could. And I trust and believe that he knew that. But I'm just saying, don't leave things open ended. Like it's not worth it. It's not. Okay. Jeff, I love you so much. And I'm sorry. Sorry, life is tough. But I know, I trust and believe you're at peace now, and I love you. And I want you to know that, like, there are so many people all over the world that you've touched now that love you too. And you died a fucking legend. You lived life to the fullest and you died a fucking legend. So let's remember the legend that he was and let's continue to honor him and continue to cherish the light that he brought to the world. Because damn, did he know how to rock it. I remember there was one day we came in to tape Disaster Daters at Spotify. The studios are here in downtown. And he was always a few minutes early, and I was always a few minutes late. And I remember he called me, and I was down the street. I was like, "Oh my god, I know I'm a few minutes, whatever." And so I answered the phone. I'm like, "Hi, I'm almost there." And he's like, "You need to get here." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You need to get here now." And I was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "You just need to get here." And I was like, "Okay, I'll be right there." And so finally, I pull up, and then I run over. I'm like, "What's wrong? Is everything okay?" And he's just like, "I'm not well." He's like, "I'm so sick." And he was so sick. Like he was like about to faint. And I was like, "Okay, holy shit. Okay. Fuck taping. We're leaving the studio. We're going straight to urgent care." So I took him to urgent care and we went. And like I told you, Spotify studios are in downtown. So we went to urgent care in downtown. Didn't think things through, right? I'm like, what is the closest urgent care? How do we get there? And so we're getting over there. And when you're in downtown, no respect to the homeless or the unhoused, but like that's urgent care in downtown. You know, a lot of mental illness, a lot of homelessness. Not that they don't need care. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them, but it was an interesting scene. And people were like fighting in the lobby and threatening to shoot each other. It was wild. And I'm like, Jeffrey, we're leaving. I go, you're clearly dehydrated because that's what they were going to do is give him like an IV with fluids. And I was like, listen, we're going to go to one of those fucking bougie fancy IV places because they can at least like here, they're just going to give you the IV for hydration, but like we're going to go and we're gonna get you the one with the vitamins and all the shit in it because like you need all the shit inside you right now. And he's just like, okay, let's do it. Like that makes more sense. It's better. I was like, okay, that's what we're doing. Let's go. So we went to one of the IV bars and I was like, don't tell them you're dying. You're hungover. And that's it. And we just need all the vitamins and all the hydration in you. And so we went and we're sticking to the story. He had a late night and he's hungover. He needs a really strong IV. And so we go and we're getting the IV and he had this intense phobia of nails and or sorry, not nails, of needles. And, and I remember the nurse was, she was talking him up and they were just chit-chatting to distract him as, they gave him the IV. And she was just, like, enamored, like, the staff there was just so enamored with him, and he just kind of, like, lit up that whole room. He's literally dying as they're trying to hook him up to an IV, and he's, like, freaking out about it, but still in some way captivated everybody and, like, was making everybody smile and laugh, and, he just took up the space in the room, and it was just so funny to sit back and to watch, and, like, I was just there to be there and to support in any way that I could. And then there was one bitch in the corner, I remember her. She had her sunglasses on and she was getting an IV and she's like, I came here to relax. And we all just like looked at her like, excuse me. And so they had to like go and put her in, I don't know, some like closet or something so that she could go finish her IV in peace and quiet. But it was just funny that rather than telling him, okay, simmer down, they would rather have had his presence than the bitch in the corner and they found a closet to shove her into so that she could finish her IV in darkness and in peace. Um, and, like, that's just the thing with him is you always wanted to be around him because there was just this energy that he would give off, and he gave so much, and sometimes I just wish he would have taken a little more from other people. Okay, this was long, maybe a little rambly, and I apologize for that, but thank you for being here, celebrating him, honoring him, loving him. Continue to. He's still with us, and I'm so glad that we have so much content of him online that we can share and watch and appreciate. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me just be raw and vulnerable and messy and grieve in this really strange, fucked up way. But my life is kind of strange and fucked up in a way, and I don't really know how else to do it. The show will I will pull it together, and we will be back on track tomorrow. I promise. But thank you for at least letting me have this, and I'm sorry that I this had to happen on, like, Labor Day, and everyone, I'm sure, is having the day off and trying to enjoy themselves. But enjoy yourself today, especially today. Summer, Labor Day, go out by a pool, drink a fucking beer, take a tequila shot for Jeff today. Please take an extra tequila shot in his honor. Please share that, post that, tag that, like all like honor him. Anything, honor him with the tequila shot, please. Um, and enjoy your day and spend it with your family and your friends and hug them, please. Please be with them and please hug them and please tell them that you love them and just remind the people in your life how much they matter to you and all the other stupid shit doesn't. Don't let that get in the way. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. I will talk to you tomorrow.